And so I got the filter on. We'll see if we recapture some people who hopefully killed the stream along with me, came back on. I don't think that was a mistake. How about you guys? No music, not a lick of music. And for the record, let me just say this. If it happens again, I will attempt this one more time just to prove the point that what I suspected is what it is. Okay. Man, I don't see anybody else having that kind of problem. I did notice the intro, the title that I had to the stream before. It started with an R and it rhymed with evolution. So you put that together. But I didn't say that in, what was I on for, guys? Like, what was I on for? Maybe a minute or two. And all of a sudden I got the big eerie bug in my ear. And Robert Nizella, yes, you say that never happened before. My friend, it has. It has happened before. The problem is that you weren't here. In your defense, you weren't here last night. But I had spoke with somebody, and I was explaining like this. Every once in a while, I get this like meh, meh, meh. I was letting everybody hear it, meh. And they were like, maybe it's because you're playing like the music, which that's nothing new. I get a copyright strike every single time that I go on live with music because I'm not playing their music. Their music sucks. So I play my music and I don't monetize. So it doesn't affect the stream 90%. Oh, I just lost my chat. We'll see if it comes back. Oh, you got flagged for too many comments, Robert. Okay, I got you. Well, I'll finish my point anyway because I want to. I figured maybe it was because I was playing the music. I didn't figure that. Somebody else said maybe it's because you're playing the music, and I said, well, you know what? That's a valid point. So that's why, in honor of that very astute synopsis, I decided to go just live and be live. Now, what just happened about 4 minutes ago in that stream had no music whatsoever in it. And I got the buzz. I got the meh. I got the buzz. So I think it's safe to say that it's not the music. It's probably more like the message or something. I don't know. We're still gonna flush this out. This isn't going to be a one and done where it's like, all right, screw it, we're done. Let's just start playing music again. No, I'm going to do this a few more times. I'm trying to capture the buzzwords or maybe something, and I'll review that stream and see if there was a buzzword or something that set it off again. Hey, Earn Dog, what's up, buddy? I didn't catch you in the last stream because there was somebody in my ear. Hey, Jess, Enlightened Jess, and Dee Dee, and Robert Wallace, and Robert Nazawa. Really? Robert Wallace says that I buffer on his end, my last few streams. So, well, I haven't really bit my tongue too much, Robert Wallace. I've certainly, I think, maybe said things that weren't completely popular with that side of everything. Listen, at this point with the live stream, I'm not really sure completely what to think. Okay. I'm not 100% sure what to think is going on right now. I guess I know it's not the music, it's the message. And the message has been a little harsh, not on you, not on me, but it's been harsh in a certain way that it's been pointing out. um let's just air quote this and say deficiencies that are being recognized within our government, and not with the current leader. Now, I'm not going to rehash everything that I spoke about last night. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rehash all that and talk about it and break it all down again. I'm not going to do it. Not going to go into Marxism. Not going to go into fascism. Not going to go into all that stuff. I'm just not going to do it. But I want to tell you something. Last night, you know what? This stream, honest to God, brought me out of. I know I mentioned that I had watched Robert Wallace's video, and he had kind of mentioned that he was getting away from, he was kind of burned out. He was just like, "I'm burned out, man. I'm burned out," and I told y'all, I so got that. I understood that part of it. It was almost like him saying it allowed me to go, God, you know what? I'm burned out too, man. I am burned out on this shit. Like burned. And then I went on to start talking about my position on everything. And all of a sudden, guys, I started catching some like wind. I started catching some light. It was like I needed this stream to pull me out of that funk. And Robert Wallace, that's what I'm hoping happens to you tonight. Because even though you may not know I'm going to do this, because last night I thought it was Thursday night, it's actually tonight. So we didn't miss anything. So, buddy, I hope you have your phone on, because in a few minutes I'm going to call you and I hope you answer. But I think we need to, if you will answer, I think we need to talk this out. I think that's fate, because I honestly did last night. I thought, well, it's Thursday night. He tried to call me earlier. He probably had something come up, this, and this. And then today it's like, holy shit, it's Thursday. You know what? He's probably expecting this phone call. And I'm going to call him. But since I just laid it on him, your phone's on? All right. All right. I got you, buddy. All right. Well, we're going to get there then. Cool. That's awesome. And I'm glad it is. And it's fully charged. Robert Wallace is ready to have a long conversation. I have no idea if that's true, but he's letting me know that everything's cool. But a couple things I'm going to talk about real quick before I make that phone call is that when I got rejuvenated, just kind of retalking my position and my walk away and all of that, everything you guys who are here listened to last night, there was a shift in the force today. As bad as everything felt yesterday, and I felt it, man, did I feel it. Robert Wallace summed it up when he said he was tired. I felt that shift in the force yesterday. And then today I felt that new shift in the force. And it's almost like, it's not almost like, it's exactly like we've been on this roller coaster and we're in the cart and we're setback, setback. And here we are, hands getting to the top of the screen. You know what that means? We're going over. And I feel like we're like right here. If I have to use my screen as my prop, which clearly I'm doing, I'd say we're about here. Now, if you're in this cart, which most of you are, this is a good sign. This is a good time right now to put your arms up because you're about to do the meow. The people, I got to do this back here. Well, they're the ones just waking up going, I think there's something wrong in our government. And they're here. And we're coming over that. We're coming over that top. And it's about to be meow, meow. I'm sorry about that. I'll let myself out. Sorry about that. Thought I was in the roller coaster for a second. But I think we're there. I think we're cresting. I don't feel the burden on my heart today that I felt yesterday, if that makes any sense. I feel like the tide has turned. Tide has turned. I'm going to flush that out of Robert Wallace and see how he's feeling about things today when I call him here in just a second. And if there's anything you guys specifically want to throw out there, I'll read the chat tonight and I'll bring it up. I would say everything's free game. Open up, ask about anything you want to ask about. If in fact you want to ask about anything, some of you probably don't. You just want to sit and listen, and that's cool too. So don't think that a lack of a question means that you don't care. Some of you are just here to listen, and I understand that too. So anyway, this might be difficult. My chat blanks in and out. I don't even know what that word means, Jess. It blanked in and just blanked out. I'm getting froggy. What is froggy? I don't know. Someday I'm going to invite you to let me know. But let's check in with our pal, the Cornholio Corn Killer from California. The Cornholio Corn Killer from California. I like that. It's got a nice ring to it. Let's check in. Hey, Bill. Hey. Hey, Robert. How are you, my friend? I got to put this up here. Sorry. Here's my prop cup. This is the cup I use, by the way, every time when I play music. So it sets it right in the direction of the mic. I know I ask this every time, but it's important to me that you can hear who is on the phone call. So instead of giving me a number 1 for being able to hear him, just when we start talking into the conversation, if you can't hear him, give me a number 9. Okay, cool. Good, Robert. How are you, friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, Jess says I'm froggy. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, froggy means frisky and funny.
Frisky and funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. I was frisky.
I guess. I don't know. I've always heard the froggy expression used in different terms.
Man, I've used froggy without the R.
If you're feeling froggy, jump,
Right.
That's when someone wants to fight.
I think it's a North Carolina thing, dude. I mean, maybe it means you're totally awesome. And not only are you awesome, but you also resemble the color of green.
I don't know. You kind of see green.
I don't know where the hell that came from.
Your eyebrows on my computer screen with the lighting, they kind of have a green hue to them.
Why?
Could be like the shadows.
Why, Mr. Wallace?
It's just my eyes.
Are you talking dirty to me?
No, I went to my eye doctor. My astigmatism is getting worse. Maybe it could just be that. I don't know.
It could be. If I start burping and start saying ribbit, we'll know we have a problem for real. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some of the chat. I told them I'd read the chat. Some are saying that I'm feeling froggy hop. That's some are saying that I'm full of piss of I'm full of piss and vinegar. Yeah, I guess I get that. I've always associated froggy as like being hungover. Like, how you feeling today? I'm feeling fucking froggy. But maybe I'm just adding the R and I'm supposed to be saying I'm feeling foggy. I don't know.
Froggy art could mean like a form of expression, like meaning the opposite. Like you feel like just jumpy and perky, like a frog is,
I know that Jess did not mean us to go this deep into it. That's for sure. Jess did not mean us to go this deep into this. I know that. I will just accept that that's a good thing. A red pill, you bastard. With all my love, by the way. What's going on in Northern California?
It's hotter than a fox in a hen house. I know that.
Hotter than a fox in a hen house.
Yeah. I'll let the mental picture set in for everybody right now.
Say that one more time.
I said I'll let the mental picture set in for everybody.
Well, when I hear that phrase, I think of Enlightened Jess out of North Carolina. It's like I can hear it in her southern North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina, by the way, FYI, for a little while. I can hear her saying, "How is it, Jess? It's hotter than fox in a hen house." And yep. I get that, but it's hot as balls. And dude, you work in concrete masonry. What is it?
Yeah, concrete masonry. Yeah, with the shovel.
Hang on 2 seconds. Hang on 2 seconds, Robert Wallace. I have to reply to somebody directly. Red pill, I understand that. He said that means it's hot as hell, Bill. I'm froggy, but I ain't that froggy. I got that. So
imagine all the feathers flying with that fox in there.
Absolutely.
It should be pretty hot in there, I bet.
It's hot as balls. That's something all of us can associate with. Yeah. Because that's about all they're good for is being extremely warm, and I'm just not going to go down that path. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I finally just realized what froggy meant because I about let that come out of my mouth. And Jess, you know something about me, don't you? Uh-huh. Yep, that means that I started getting loose with my talk, Robert Wallace. That's what that means. Now I understand froggy. Yeah, it's good, right? It's good. So let me ask you a question about yesterday, buddy. I spoke a little bit about myself in the in my stream last night, and it was honestly kind of spurred on by what you did in your live stream, which I didn't catch live, and I think I left you a message and talked to you about that, and I didn't, but there were some things that you said in there, and I don't know what kind of, because you're a truther, we know this, you're a prepper, we know this, but what finally kind of brought you to just overload, I guess is what I'd say. What kind of brought you to make that statement about stepping away from that side of it for a little bit? I don't know if you can pinpoint it. Give it a shot. Unscripted interview, we're just talking.
Yeah, I'm just going off the answer off the test.
Yeah, absolutely.
How I feel. So how I feel and what I think are kind of related to this. They're two separate issues. So what I use is thinking first, and thinking tells me my thinking is based upon human behaviors, right?
Yep.
And I use that. That's how I see the world primarily. Human behaviors and how people act, the things people do. And then I'm kind of like always been fascinated by history. And one of my teachers, I think in junior high, I think 7th or 8th grade, studied the Civil War for 2 years. And the teacher, is the same teacher that I had for 2 years in a row because I went to Catholic school. And he told us that history he said history repeats itself, and that stuck with me for my entire life so far. And if I look back through history of behaviors of human beings and Romans and everybody else, it's the same thing happening now, just in a different way.
Yeah. Totally.
There's always been a system in place.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the very beginning, I don't know, but as far as like what people have found, every time we find evidence of ancient human civilization, we find a system in place. It's not the current system; it's a system, though.
You mean in the past when we like dig up artifacts and that kind of stuff?
Yep, there's always a system. You look at Mayan culture; that's a system. They lived in their culture had a system to it. They had a trading system, a monetary system. Every civilization has one.
Yeah.
And we're having one now. We might be living in a moment where it's going to change. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so. I don't know.
So what'd that do to you?
What would that do to me?
No, not what would it do to you, but what did it do to you to kind of bring that out of you?
Thinking about that?
Yeah.
I've always kind of thought like that because that's how I always have been awake because I've always thought like that. So I've always kind of been awake, judging by human behaviors and what human beings do to how they treat one another.
Did it just emotionally?
Majority of human beings. Yeah, it's all self-based. It's selfish motivated, not selfish motivated. It's a self-need motivated. I'm not gonna say selfish. It's a self-need.
Would you call it like an overload of truth? Would you look at it like you're overloaded with truth?
It's not overloaded with truth. It's because I already know the truth. It's that the truth is out there, and the system that we have is not based upon the truth.
So what caused that to flip off in you? Were you like, I mean, I understand that. I get that, dude. I do.
I don't know if it's going to be possible for us to ever live in a system of truth on the massive scale that we do. I could see it working on a community basis, like, let's say where the county you live in. Let's break it down by county. In rural areas, not big, giant coastal cities like LA, San Francisco, New York, because that'd have to be broken up into neighborhoods.
Okay. All right. I got you. Rural America.
We go to rural, or not even rural, just small, even city. Okay. We go on a city basis. Excuse me.
No, you're good. I'm with you.
On that city basis, participation is voluntarily. Whoever wants to show up, and there's a town hall meeting, right? And we all come with any of our problems, any issues that we have as an individual, right?
Yep.
Within that community, if it's an issue with a certain neighbor or certain or gangs or drugs or prostitution.
So basically a crime.
Disturbing, yes, or not even a crime. Something that's disturbing the peace,
okay,
happiness, freedom,
yep,
of other individuals. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything that's interfering with that, you can go and bring it to this, right? Bring it up. And we probably do it, let's do it every other week.
You're saying bring it to like the officials of the small city?
A local city council meeting, but that city council meeting is held in an area to where it can hold enough people.
They're the judge, the jury, and the executioner. But let's take executioner. But
no. It's just to bring it up.
Okay.
And it's an awareness of the community. Everybody's involved. Everybody that wants to be involved is involved. Now, places you might have to have 10,000 friggin' seating because it's that big of a place.
Okay. Yep.
How are you going to get through that many people? I don't know. I mean, you'd almost have to have an online thing and a giant staff. But I mean,
well, I think
if we did something like that, to where actually we're holding them accountable that way, more so.
Well,
I think it's just a fact of people need to be more active.
And it sounds like you're trying to almost marriage today's technology with, how do I want to say it, with how things were done. Let's say, I'll just throw out a number, in the 1800s. It's like you're pairing today's technology with how communities resolved issues when times were simpler. So you have a that's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's going back in time, but with using technology to make that effective with the amount of people we have. So if that means we vote online,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people probably have a gut reaction when I say that. I mean, I do when those words come out of my mouth. It's like a cardinal sin from what I've been taught in the last two, elections, few elections, ever since Al Gore and Bush and what was that, 98 when Florida recount and everything?
Yeah, with the chits. Yep.
Was that 98 or was that when Gore ran the second time?
That was the Chads, or the Chafes.
Yeah, Broward County or whatever.
It was
Broward County.
It was the election of 98 is what it was.
That's what it was, because I voted for Gore.
Wait a minute. I did too, by the way.
I watched your stream. I watched your stream. I did the same exact thing you did when you were talking about the...
It was 2000. It was for the 2000 presidential election because
okay.
Bush Jr. was in 92.
That was the second time you ran.
Yeah.
I think there was that. Yeah.
Well, there was two. He was vice president to Bill Clinton.
Oh, that was the second. 98 was the second Clinton term, wasn't it?
It was actually 96 because Bush. But regardless, dude. I mean, you know what that means? It means we're old and we don't remember shit anymore. That's what it means. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying, and if I really break it down, I mean, I know that we can get into the specifics of it and that kind of stuff. Exactly. But it sounds like you're taking. You want government to take a smaller role out of what's going on and bring it back to more like states' rights, state community or county community in this case, where go ahead, you're with people that are like-minded.
I think it almost needs to be, it's like-minded people, not even like-minded people, because we're such a diverse culture and so much in America, we're a melting pot. We always have been, so
when they came in legally, we've been a great melting pot legally.
Whether they come in legally or illegally, I mean, we can't really stop that. If we build a wall, it's not going to stop illegal immigration. All it's going to do is drastically reduce the numbers of the criminals coming in.
And I think that's what they're looking for, is to slow that down. But I digress. And
there is a high percentage of kids being trafficked. From what I gather from talking to
there
other
is.
immigrants, from other Mexican immigrants. From when I talk to them, I get a little bit different stories than what our mainstream media is saying from just talking to them.
Well, I can't even rely on any of them anymore. None of them, and even Fox. Worse. I feel worse about Fox today than I did yesterday. Every piece of information comes out. It's Robert. I can't believe you could get that to come through my microphone from the speakerphone. Jeez, man.
Yep, I can throw my voice through the phone.
He do good. He does a nice job of that. Pardon me on my pigliness. But well, I get what you're saying though, dude. You're talking about a simpler form of living together and being co-opting with each other and taking big government out. How many people are in jail, dude? I mean, it's rhetorical, but how many people are in jail for just terrible? Yes, that's the solution for everything is build another jail, build another prison. You want to start a halfway house? Don't do it in my neighborhood. But I'm all for helping people. It's almost George Carlin-esque.
I wonder if prisons were not privatized on the ownership of the prisons,
Mm-hmm.
Those are all privately owned, the prisons, correct?
Yes. And even
leased to the government, right? Correct?
Sadly, true.
Okay. If we didn't do that, you think we'd be saving a lot of money?
Yeah, bud. I do.
We'd be making money, wouldn't we?
We should be. If
be at least at like almost to zero, because they'd be working in there, correct?
They should be. Or actually, not they should be. They would love to be working, not sitting in a 4x4.
I mean, there's a lot of them you can't work because they shouldn't be out in society. So those ones just work on site.
Well, they should work on chain gangs.
They work on the prison.
They
work in the prison since they can't leave.
It ought to be it should be productive. Being in prison should be a productive thing. Now, you can be a sick motherfucker bastard that needs to be you can't be part of society in any way, like a John Wayne Gacy and fill in the blank after that. Jeffrey Dahmer, where you just it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, you need to be taken, basically eradicated from society. But the majority of the overwhelming majority of the people that are in prison they're sorry for whatever crime they committed. And we have to keep in mind, I don't know what the percentage is, but a percentage of them are innocent to begin with that never committed the crime. There needs to be prison reform. But what you're saying, Robert, is absolutely 100% true, is that these let me just step back for a second and ask anybody in here. If you went, God forbid, if you went to prison for something that you actually did, would you rather sit in a 4x4 cell and not have any kind of movement and not be able to do anything except sit and reflect on whatever it is you're in there for? Or would you rather be able to reflect on what you did? Maybe there's some programs in order that would help you understand how you got to where you got. And maybe you got to step your ass out of those four walls and do, it doesn't even have to be manual labor. That's the big psyche, is that, everybody watch Cool Hand Luke and they're sitting there and they're out there and all that kind of shit. But I mean, really, it's about reconditioning these people and adapting them back to society. But I say there's way too many that maybe just need to be helped and not stuck into a cell for so long. But to your point, Robert, it's about people governing themselves. It's almost like we'd police ourselves unless we really, really needed police.
Exactly. That's why there was only one sheriff in town.
One sheriff. Because if there were two, what would happen?
There'd be corruption.
At some level, there absolutely would be. Guys, I'm going to take a 30-second intermission because I got to quickly go swap out my beverage. And this is the most unprofessional interview you'll hear anywhere ever. So I have nothing to apologize for. But with that, I will be right back. Robert Wallace, I want you for 30 seconds to go crazy. And I won't make you wait longer than 30 seconds. So let me put on. Do you have something to talk about, or do you want me to give you something to say? Not say.
Kind of thinking right
now. All right.
I know what to talk about.
You got something, or do you want to talk about like housing values and all that shit? But go ahead. I will be back in 30 seconds.
All right.
I'll be right back.
I don't know. I'm just kind of not confused, just tired of the bullshit because I know the truth, and I'm just gonna kind of just sit and wait until I don't know. Everybody else, not everybody else, the people wake up and see what I see. Not even see what I see. See the truth and see that we're all being manipulated, and I think we're being steered into a new system. And well, I kind of want to have a part in that system, and that's just my personal thoughts. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think? You guys think you want to have a say in that new system? If that's what we're going to be doing, having a new system, I think every American should have a say in it, you know, and there's only one way to do that, and I think that's to do it on a local level. So somehow we can verify and trust the online thing to where we can just, let's say you vote every once a month we vote, and we vote on things that are presented within those to your local council member or whatever. You can suggest things online, ideas. They have a team. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to figure out logistics. Someone smarter than me can figure it out. You know what the manpower is for that. Get that done. I don't. But there's somebody out there that knows that stuff. So you can get somebody on that and get the online thing to where it's, I don't know, a trusted online. I don't know how the hell we go about that. But
I do. Can I answer? I got my hand in the air.
Given George Soros. How do we do it given all the George Soros bullshit? How do we do it? Online voting thing.
Blockchain technology. If you know about it, which okay. I know you do, it's totally transparent. It's completely, it's not corruptible.
Blockchain. So if we went to a blockchain system, everybody's social security number would be attached to a blockchain number.
Absolutely. I mean, however they would need to do it, even if it's not your social, if they could just verify you in some way.
But then if someone gets your social security account, they can't have them linked.
I'm not worried about the onesie twosies though, Robert. I'm not worried about them getting a hold of 10 social security numbers or 10 people's ID. I'm worried about them having people that are dead voting, people that you can votes that you can prove are absolutely bogus. And I'd like them to research things like when they find in a specific county or region that votes have been specifically like stolen and they were discovered later and all that kind of shit to take. I mean, I want that kind of corruption to go away. And that's the part that renews me. As much as I heard you last night, and I felt for you, buddy. I mean, I did. In fact, I didn't only feel for you. I jumped on the Robert Wallace train and said, "I'm tired, man. I am beat down by what's going on politically, and you can't turn on a television station and they're not kicking the shit out of what we know to be good moves in America right now with the president. I'm all about ending that corruption, and the only way to do that is through transparency. If we can be transparent and prove it, we'll be in good shape."
Yeah, I mean, I see what's happening right now with the way he's speaking and what he's saying when he speaks and the words he's choosing.
By he, you mean Trump?
Yes, in the positions that he's putting himself in.
Yep.
And what he's, as far as putting himself in positions as in how he's subjecting himself to the media and to the general public based upon what he's saying. Like
almost by design.
He said when he met with Putin.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back the other day and backtracked on it.
Yeah. Yep.
And said that he meant to say something totally different than what he said.
Yes. Like the difference between the word would or wouldn't.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what he said he meant to say.
He did.
Well, I know, but when you do that, you're just like, wait, what? Because what that makes me think is that makes me go like, this whole time, I know I've been lied to. Basically, my entire life, I've been lied by every fucking politician and every policy that we've done in every foreign country.
Absolutely.
I've been lied to.
Yep.
Because they've gone around the world and said we're doing all this good, and all it was a bunch of bullshit over oil every damn time. Look at Venezuela right now with all our oil refineries down there. Well, newsflash, Venezuela's damn near out of oil. You don't see that on the news, do you? We went in there, put our oil refineries in, sucked up all the oil out of the ground, and then we walked away.
Yeah, and the oil that you're speaking of.
Look what's happened to the country. And all they say it's falling apart because it's socialist. The country's not falling apart. That country's going to be better than we are because the oil that they have left, they aren't giving it to us. And
they can't refine it. That's the biggest issue with the oil that's in.
They've taken our refineries over.
So it's not an easy process. It's not an easy process.
Yeah.
The oil's there. It's just that the oil that's left is not all that easy to harvest and turn into crude oil, which is, and you're absolutely right. And that's been by design. I mean, Venezuela they were every bit of a first world country no more than 4 years ago. They were a budding capitalistic country. But that's gone by the wayside. I mean, these people are dirt ass poor. And they have all the resources in the world that you could imagine, and they can't capitalize on them. But I think their day is coming.
Well, I was what was I going to say about Venezuela?
Well, they.
Well, one thing I heard is that Venezuela that they are going to go crypto for selling the oil that they do have.
And have, yes, very true.
And also in India used to be the biggest buyer from Venezuela, and now the U.S. is selling their oil to Venezuela or to India.
And India okayed cryptos.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, and I'm thinking that if something might happen to where the U.S. doesn't sell oil to India anymore. India buys it from Venezuela once again. Venezuela has taken over kicked us out of our refineries down there. So I'm it's just kind of curious to what Trump will do. Will he let the oil industry dictate his moves, like always has happened in the past, and we will go and militarily intervene to retake the refineries in Venezuela?
I don't think so. But
I don't think so. But I think that bluff might be that card might be played.
It could.
That card may have to be played in order to show the rest of the people still sleeping what we really have been doing throughout the world for the last 80, 90 years.
Yes. And that,
which is go around and screw everybody around, and the rich get richer. All the oil and bankers are in bed with each other, just making all this money, and they're telling and reporting us that we're fucking helping people, and we aren't.
Absolutely.
And we never have been, and that's not been the American way.
Well, in hindsight,
and I think every American knows that that's not the American way, and that's not what we stand for as individuals.
It's not, but
those have been our representatives.
It's been the representatives, and it's all been to line the central banking system, which just to come back to a point that you made a little earlier, Robert, when you were talking about God, no, I lost track of it, but it was, you were talking about the federal something. What were you talking about? But anyway, it's not that important. It was a little sidetrack to what the point I'm going to make is that the whole reason that they're not going to play ball with converting the oil into or letting Venezuela go is that right now they're playing ball to convert their money into US dollars. Okay. And Chavez threatened to not convert those dollars or that oil into US dollars anymore. Guys, the US dollar is the global banking currency. Trump is here to kill the US dollar in addition to eradicating the deep state. And to Robert's point, Venezuela understands it. They are getting on board with cryptocurrencies. India understands it. They are getting on board with cryptocurrencies. You are seeing a shift in the world getting on board with the cryptocurrencies because what it will effectively do is kill the central bank system, which is the system that makes you and continues to make you a slave. Right, buddy?
Exactly. That's the system we're in now. That's what every system has done. Every system does that eventually if you look throughout history. Some civilizations destroy themselves. Some start a new system and survive.
Yeah.
Rome, their system, they didn't survive their system. Really, they did. I mean, they're still there, but they lost all their power.
The systems,
they lost all their wealth.
Yes, the systems that thrived were the ones that originally used to back everything that they did with gold and silver. And it was real money. It was God's money. Biblically, it was God's money. It was real alloys that had to be worked for and mined out of the ground. I mean, silver comes out of the ground at let's say this, at a 10-to-1 ratio. So for every 1 ounce of gold somebody pulled out of the ground, they could pull 10 ounces of silver out of the ground. And that's what gave it its value as to how much is actually available in the world. So, and that's how all alloys and all metals worked. Well, circa 21st century, we have the information superhighway, which metals will always have a place because they are industrial in their nature. They work for things like silver goes into I can think of about 1,000 different things, but silver is used although I brain fart on the very first one that I want to get into. Solar panels. There's 2 ounces of silver in every solar panel. Silver, colloidal silver, which was used for thousands of years to eradicate disease within a community because of the properties it would kill a disease. People used to put silver dollars in their milk crates because it would prolong the efficiency of the milk. I mean, the things that silver does that continue to help people in civilization are endless. And honest to God, just look up the properties of silver and what it does, in addition to being like the number one conductor of a heat or cold source. That's what gave these metals their value, and that's why people used them. Now, as Robert states, cryptocurrencies along the information superhighway of the internet that we all know and love, there is something about them that gives them value. And that's the fact that instead of physically digging into the ground to pull them out and be mined, they still have to be mined. However, it's not with a digger shovel, okay? It is with the brain component of a computer. And by cracking the code of the currency, it has to go through a regiment, and that's what gives it its value because they only make so many. So I think I went a little deeper than I wanted to on that, Robert, and I'm sorry. But go in any direction you want to go from there, buddy.
The cryptos. Yeah, so basically we're going to have a new system. And
true.
I think everybody's watching around waiting for the new system to just magically fucking happen.
Yeah. What's their expectation, buddy? What is everybody's what's everybody's expectation in the world? Do you think they're all asleep? Do you think they're all sitting there going, well, life is what it is. We're just going to continue on and all this political shit will just work itself out. I mean, do you think most people even have a clue?
Yes. I think a lot of people do have a clue. I think people older than us have a clue. I think people in their 60s have a clue. I think they've all been where we're at right now. Because I remember when I was 8, 9 years old, my dad listening to Rush Limbaugh. And back then,
what a maverick.
89, Rush Limbaugh was...
Oh, he was on the fringe, dude. He was the fringe.
Alex Jones of today.
Yeah,
Alex Jones of today in the 80s.
He was radio. Definitely fringe. Yeah, I do.
And so, my dad used to listen to it every day on the job. That was the only time my dad would ever allow anything on the job out of a radio was Rush Limbaugh.
You had no choice but to be a truther growing up in that kind of atmosphere.
So that's how I grew up. So, I mean, that's how long I've kind of been taught to think differently, question everything.
Absolutely.
So it's been a long time for me of how I see the world this way, and that's why I think I don't fit into this world, because this world goes against everything that is my natural instinct.
Well, that's where you got to stop yourself, Robert, and realize that you do fit in this world, and you've just been waiting for your ship to come in, your abilities, your knowledge, things that you, I think, like a lot of us, dude. I would venture to say that because of our thinking, and some of us way more than others, like, dude, I would say, not to toot your horn, but I mean, the things that you're involved in as far as being prepper ready and all of that thing, but I think you're ready in that regard, dude, for where you live, and maybe for the people that you're going to come into contact with, the same way that I am. It's like I don't maybe need to have that skill set that you have out there in Northern California that I need here. It's almost like the energy of being awake, and maybe in a lot of regards, dude, being an outcast, because I'll raise my hand, dude, and say that my level of thinking my entire life, it took the internet for me to actually connect with actual like-minded people. And I'm not saying that we all get along. I'm not saying we should get along. But for people, I mean, I was weird, dude. I was different. I didn't go around spouting it off. But what I felt inside of me, I don't know. Does that make sense, dude? Do you guys in the chat understand that? Have you gone through that? Have you experienced what I'm talking?
You don't try and wake people up anymore, really, or what?
Oh, no. I absolutely. Oh, if anybody, I will always, no matter where I go in life, Robert, if I start a casual conversation or they start a casual conversation with me, I will absolutely put breadcrumb questions out there. And my goal in life is to awaken people, and how they react and what they say to maybe a comment I'll make, or maybe a sliver of knowledge that I'll drop into their lap, how they react, or hopefully, in most instances, hopefully they'll ask a follow-up question. And if they ask a follow-up question, dude, I got a live one on the hook. And then it's up to me to decide how I want to give them all the freaking truth that I know, because you can't just lay that in somebody's lap. But my goal is always to try to eventually get a conversation going into the direction of truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I don't do it as much as I used to. I don't push it as hard as I used to.
Do you do it with strangers, though? Do you do it with strangers? I know you can't do that with people that you work with every day.
I used to do it with everybody, and I really just don't do it anymore. I think I might do it in a different way now. I don't bring up anybody's name.
Yeah.
I just talk about me when I do it.
Set breadcrumbs.
I talk about how I feel and what I see in society, and what I would like to see happen. And I always start a discussion based upon that, because I think that's where we're going to find common ground amongst one another on looking for a solution.
And that opens the door.
What our problems are. Instead of just talking about what our problems are with other people and other things going on around us.
For sure, dude.
We talk about solutions.
And sometimes that opens the door to solutions. And basically, guys, as I wrap up the stream, as we just crest the 1 hour mark, what it really means is that people need to be responsible for their own awakening. You can only put a carrot in front of a horse so many times before. That's a horrible analogy, but you can only put the truth.
It's a great analogy, because I ain't eating the fucking carrot no more.
There you go.
I ain't trying to bite the fucking carrot. Nope.
That's right.
And
when we put it in front of
the fucking grass,
when we put it in front of somebody else, if they won't nibble on it and they won't ask any kind of question, guys, it's biblical. There comes a time where and Jesus says, don't cast your pearls on swine. It means give the effort, put it out there. Give at least a tidbit of truth, because it's your duty to at least give the little bit of truth that you can. And what we're going through right now with our government is going through huge change. So put that tidbit of truth out there. And if people don't want to ask the following question, the definition of don't cast your pearls on swine would be that the asleep are the swine. You shouldn't beg somebody to have to ask you a follow-up question. If they simply won't because they're detached from the world and from humanity, wipe your feet of them and move on. That's not your job. And you know why? Because it's exhausting, and you shouldn't be worrying about getting that information to one singular person. It needs to be something that you freely share with your awakeness, with everybody you come into contact with. And you do that in a way that doesn't make you look crazy or sound crazy. You wait for your opportunity and you put out a leading question. You put out a breadcrumb. You're going to know within seconds how this individual is. You're not an attorney trying to sway the judgment of the jury. It's not meant to be that way. Do what you can. And like I said, it's been an hour and 3 minutes now. I want to thank YouTuber and my friend Robert Wallace for being here tonight and taking, honestly, an unscripted Q&A session, I guess, or just some general talk, dude. I appreciate you being here, buddy. And it's been a while. So, let's make sure that we continue to get together. And as these things unfold in front of us on the mainstream television, even though they're not right in front of us in the awakened community, but let's use their weaknesses to our strength and continue to call them out as we see them. Is there anything you want to leave anybody with, Robert?
Oh, kind of one quick thing. I'm kind of noticing, if you pay attention to the news, one example, Tony Podesta.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that right now. Or John Podesta, his brother, right?
Both of them, dude. Both of them. Yeah. Tony and John.
Which one's the skinny one? Tony.
That's John, actually.
Okay, John. And the fat one is Tony.
Yep.
Brother. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Tony got immunity from Mueller. So.
Well, they're talking about it, but yeah, but look into it. You're saying.
But he wasn't his group closed in relation to the Clinton campaign, the DNC, and all that.
The rabbit.
Was it Ukraine? Or was it Ukraine based?
The collusion is deep, buddy. Yes, those they're both involved.
So now they're giving him immunity. I mean, it's that. That's the kind of thing that I see, and I just go, WTF, this is a joke. Who's believing this bullshit?
Yep.
And buying this? And I mean, it's just, how long is this going to go on for? Because it's just ridiculousness.
It's rhetorical, and I understand what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely 100% right, buddy. If you don't know the Podesta brothers, Tony and John, please look them up. They are some pedophilia, heavily into pedophilia. And if you want to get into the things that have happened on Epstein Island, if you're not familiar with that, look that up. This information is freely out there. And guys, I want to thank my friend and YouTuber Robert Wallace for being with me here tonight. And I appreciate all you guys being here with me tonight. And we'll make sure that we do this again soon. Robert, God bless you, my friend. And we will talk soon.
Yeah, God bless you too. Take care. And I will see all you guys later out there in the chat. A lot of people in there. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye. Well, guys, thanks. That was a lot of fun. We haven't done that in a while. And, you know, I guess just to pull this all together and follow up with what Robert and I were talking with, you know, for me last night, hearing him in his live stream, and if you haven't seen his live stream from last night, listen, he looked over his garden. He was talking about some things that bring him peace and things that he does as a prepper. But he let something slip inside of that video that, man, did that hit home to me when he started talking about basically, I just don't want to think about this stuff right now anymore. Not that he was giving up being a truther, not that he was walking away from anything going on. It was just an overwhelming feeling, and that's what I gathered out of it. And man, did I understand that. I felt that way a lot. But in hindsight, to wrap this up, when I got into my stream last night and started talking about the walk away movement and that sort of stuff, it forced me to start reminding myself of the reasons that I walked away from the movement. It forced me to recollect and things that I hadn't really thought about specifically that were early into my awakening. And you guys, that was the best medicine I could have ever had. And there's people like Robert Wallace in my life that are there for that very reason. And I'm probably there for him in a similar reason that either has happened or is yet to happen. But it's the same reason that you guys are a part of each other's lives, or in my life, or I'm in your life. This isn't coincidental. This isn't by accident. So be good to each other. Be awesome to each other. Be awesome to yourself. Always know that you are on the right path to truth. And keep kicking ass every fucking day. So with that, on behalf of Robert Wallace and myself, Bill Mish of the Bill Mish channel or show, whatever, out.